It is time for your mid-year reset. And the way we're doing that is with a vision board. As you can see, I've been working on a vision board in the background. Really, it's about revisiting and realigning with some of the visions that you had for this year. And a lot of times I found myself, so I'm pretty sure some other people can resonate with this. I found myself starting the year hype, ready to go, excited, had my vision, had my New Year's resolutions, right? Had it all in my mind, maybe wrote it out, journal, vision board. And around March, I wasn't doing it, right? I wasn't completing what I set out to do. I wasn't fully walking it out. And this year, I did complete some of my New Year's goals, right? It wasn't that I wasn't doing them all, but some of them I wanted to revisit. I could be doing better, right? Some of them I never got started on and they fell by the wayside. So I now need to ask myself, is that what's aligning for me right now in this year? Is that what my focus should be? Often I have in the past just given up and been like, oh, well, I guess I didn't do it. Oh, well, no, I now understand that the mid-year reset is powerful. The mid-year revisiting your goals is extremely powerful and needed because you've had a chance to kind of like see how the year's flowing. You've gotten distracted, you've gotten off course, and now you can fix your mind to realign back to your goals, right? Now you've been distracted for a couple of months, right? It went from winter to spring. Now we're in the summertime if you're in North America. And hey, it's a lot going on, right? But I've decided to be unbothered, like my shirt says, and I fixed my mind to realign. And that meant revisiting some of the goals that I had already set out for the year. And so in this video, I'm talking about healing and self-belief, which is going to be rewriting the narrative. And I mean literally through my vision board, rewriting some of that narrative, right? And so, how this showed up for me, what came up for me was how I've had to heal in the past, and how in healing, I also had to heal my self belief. So, when I was fired twice in one year, I talk about this a lot because I don't feel like enough people share their failures. But when I was fired, I had to understand looking back that that was a time for healing and reconnection with my birth family. That was a time with aligning to the purpose that I was supposed to be walking out, right? It was divine timing, but I had to visit that time. I had to realign my mind and rewrite that narrative around it because for the longest, it felt like I had failed. Not only did I think I was failing or a failure, other people were coming at me like I was a failure, right? How that sounded was like family and friends, probably well meaning, but they would be like, well, what are you going to do with yourself? What are you going to do now? Oh, you can't not do this. You need to do this. What you going to do? Okay, that became um anxiety inducing for me, right? And so I had to quiet the noise. It was external noise, but it was internal noise that I had to quiet as well, right? And then I sought God, I prayed, and I was like, okay, this keeps happening. I keep getting fired. Not once, but twice. Okay. I keep getting fired. I don't want to keep getting fired because it's embarrassing. Okay. It's making me feel inadequate or like it just wasn't a good feeling. Right. And that's when I was like, what am I really supposed to be focused on then? And I realigned. I ended up back in school working on my second bachelor's degree, which led to my master's degree that I eventually got. And now I'm in a PhD program, all off of that decision then to align with my purpose, to align and reassign meaning to what was going on. Right. So, no, I wasn't a failure. I was realigning to what I should have been focused on from failure to focus. Yep. Focus. Right. And so it taught me that I don't have to be perfect to be whole. So that season definitely taught me that wholeness was not about perfection, right? And often I would struggle because like even now, look at my hair. It's a little bit out of place. It's a little messy. It is not perfect. I don't know what's going on with my hair. It's a little messy. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't make this video. So what I'm saying is that the wholeness, the being perfect, all of that, it had to disappear once I understood realigning to the timing that I was on. So perfection isn't the goal, right? That's what I needed to know at that time. Another thing I needed to understand is that I could start again. Yeah, those two jobs didn't work out. So now I'm on this path, but this isn't the end. I have another opportunity when it's time, right? um you can believe in yourself again. I had to redevelop again self-belief. Why? Because being fired made me feel inadequate. It started a downward spiral of negative self-talk, right? Not just my own self-talk, but people asking me questions, contributing to how I saw myself in that season, what I thought I should be doing. And I had to learn how to quiet all of that. I had to really focus inward so that outward I could be on the right path. And that's what this is about, this reset. That's what this is all about. And so I want to give you a few. You can use these as journaling prompts, or you can just use them as self-reflection questions that you ask yourself. And so I'm going to go ahead and read the first one. What limiting belief am I finally ready to release right now? What limiting belief am I finally ready to release right now? Okay, so for example, we're doing a vision board in the middle of the year. A limiting belief could be that vision boards only happen at the beginning of the year or in the fourth quarter of the year. And if you don't do it then, it doesn't count. That's a limiting belief about the power of realigning to whatever your goal was. It's about timing. So you may be limiting when this can happen, but this can happen anytime you decide, right? The next thing, how have past wounds shaped me and how am I choosing to heal? That could also be, how have past disappointments shaped me and how am I choosing to heal? This is huge. Back to me being fired twice in the same year, right? That was shaping how I saw myself, how I was showing up. It was causing me to think less of myself and to be afraid to show up in some ways and in some spaces. It was causing me to start to shrink, right? Conversations would happen around me and I would just get quiet in fear of someone asking me what I did. I wasn't fully embracing where I was, right? That shaped me for the longest. That's why I started doing this work. It shaped me too much, and I needed to realign with the truth about who I was, right? Okay, next question. What does it look like to speak to myself with compassion and grace? Okay, y'all, guilty. Guilty. Not always speaking to myself in the best way. Some of that internal chatter in my mind and in my heart and in my spirit, right? I make a mistake, oh, you so dumb. No, I'm not. I'm allowed to make a mistake, right? This is a very important, very, very sensitive question. What does it look like for you to speak to yourself with compassion and grace? Do you need reminders? I'm an advocate for setting these reminders that don't have a notification, silent reminders that go off. Does a few of those reminders need to say, speak to yourself kindly, right? Next question. Who would I be without fear, shame, or self-doubt? Ooh, who would you be? No fear, no shame. You unstoppable. Okay, who is that? We want to meet that person, honey. Who is that? Right? You have no shame of failure, no fear of failure, no shame from the past. How would you dress? How would you talk? What would you go do right now? Who is that person? And then the last question, and this is important as well. In what ways am I already healing and whole? Now, let me pause and talk about this. A lot of times in the past, I was so focused on trying to be better and trying to develop that I forgot to acknowledge that I was healing and already whole in some areas and that I had already developed and had already healed. You, anybody out there, you too? Have you been so focused on the next goal after whatever you reached that you didn't take the time to say, oh, I've healed right here? Maybe you notice your reaction isn't the same. where you used to pop off as soon as somebody said something to you. They call you little pop off. Okay. Now you pause and you say, oh, that's interesting. Listen, you're no longer popping off. You're pausing. Okay. From pop off to pause, baby. From pop off to pause could be a t-shirt. Okay. You no longer do that. Are you acknowledging that you've healed in that way? Right? Are you acknowledging the wholeness that's coming with you calming down? And now you're not out here in these streets bothered all the time, stressed out over some little whatever somebody said. Whole time you healed, honey. You're not even acknowledging it. And you can't wait for everyone around you to acknowledge it. They may see it, but may never say it out loud. They just may see it and just silently acknowledge it. What about you, though? Are you acknowledging it to yourself? I think that is extremely important, right? Those are the questions. I'm going to make sure I put them in the description just in case you want to journal them or just reread them and sit with them. This is helping us guide through the realignment in our vision board, right? As we ponder these questions, now we can think of words or pictures or themes, right, that go with this that we want to put on the vision board, right? And so that could look like words like worthy, enough, reclaim. Okay, reclaiming your time. Okay, whatever it is that goes with healing and self-belief for you, right? Listen, your healing isn't a detour, it's your path, right? Just remember that. I really want you to really sit with this, right? Definitely check out my Flourish Forward community. It's a coaching community. We're doing this work, but often you really do need the support of a community, and a community that didn't know you from the past. A fresh community with fresh eyes, fresh perspective that can hear you in a fresh way and see you where you are, right? And so I'm going to link that as well. So definitely jump in that. If you haven't taken my free confidence quiz, Confidence Unleashed, listen, it's just a fun quiz to see where your confidence lies right now. And it's a really good way to just, learn a little bit about yourself. I'm very big on quizzes and self-learning. And so I love it. And so definitely I want you to check those resources out. And I